Hello, friends. I'm Chris. I'm from Transformation Nation Yoga and Wellness, and welcome to our Stability Meets Mobility Fire and Earth 2 sequence. So, why Fire and Earth? We're going to be really targeting and focusing in on some muscles associated with the secondary channels of Earth element meridians. So, stomach and spleen meridians. So, the primary channels run along the front plane of the body from the center of the eyes, down the front of the face and throat, the chest, the abdomen, all the way down to the tops of the feet. But the muscles that we're working on tonight, a lot have to do with the wrists and some large muscles in the upper back. So latissimus dorsi, also lower and middle trapezius. So the work that we do tonight will reflect that. What I think you'll need to be safe, to enjoy, and to get the most out of your practice for tonight are a yoga mat, such as I have behind me here, and two yoga blocks. So pause your recording, roll out your mat, gather up your props. When you're ready, press play, and I'll meet you on your mat for our Stability Meets Mobility Fire and Earth 2 sequence. And I'll ask you to start tonight in half frog. So come down onto your belly. Go post your arms out to the side with your elbows in line with your shoulders, fingers pointing up past the top edge of your mat. Shift your gaze over to the left, and then lift your left knee up in the general direction of your left elbow. The left knee doesn't have to touch the elbow. It doesn't even have to be close, just that general direction. And then from there, during the reading, I'd like you to do two things. Notice all the places where you feel sensation in this half frog shape and lengthen out your breath. And it's a fairly long reading for a 60-minute class. So I'll give you some other instructions midway through the reading as well. So we're going to read tonight from chapter 12 of the Bhagavad Gita, the Yoga of Devotion. Arjuna said, one man loves you with pure devotion, another man loves the unmanifest. Which of these two understands yoga more deeply? The blessed Lord said, those who love and revere me with unwavering faith, always centering their minds on me, they're the most perfect in yoga. But those who revere the imperishable, the unsayable, the unmanifest, the all-present, the inconceivable, the exalted, the unchanging, the eternal, mastering their senses, acting at all times with equanimity, rejoicing in the welfare of all beings, they too will reach me at last. But their path is much more arduous, because for embodied beings, the unmanifest is obscure and difficult to attain. Those who love and revere me, who surrender all actions to me, who meditate upon me with undistracted attention, whose minds have entered my being, I come to them all, Arjuna, and quickly rescue them all from the ocean of death and rebirth. Concentrate every thought on me alone, with a mind fully absorbed, one pointed. You will live within me forever. Right, lower your left knee back down in line with your right. Shift your gaze over to your right, and then lift your right knee up in the general direction of your right elbow. If you find that you are unable to center your thoughts on me, strengthen your mind by the steady practice of concentration. If this is beyond your powers, dedicate yourself to me. Performing all actions for my sake, you will surely achieve success. If even this is beyond you, rely on my basic teaching. Act always without attachment, surrendering your actions' fruits. Knowledge is better than practice. Meditation is better than knowledge. And best of all is surrender, which brings peace. He who has let go of hatred, who treats all beings with kindness and compassion, who is always serene, unmoved by pleasure or pain, free of I and mine, self-controlled, firm, and patient, his whole mind focused on me, that man is the one I love best. He who neither disturbs the world nor is disturbed by it, who is free of all joy, fear, envy, that man is the one I love best. He who is pure, impartial, skilled, unworried, calm, selfless in all undertakings, that man is the one I love best. He who devoted to me is beyond joy and hatred, grief and desire, good and bad fortune. That man is the one I love best. The same to both friend and foe, the same in disgrace or honor, suffering or joy, untroubled, indifferent to praise and blame, quiet, filled with devotion, content with whatever happens, at home wherever he is. That man is the one I love best. Those who realize the essence of duty, who trust me completely and surrender their lives to me, I love them with very great love. And we'll pick up next week with chapter 13. Start to engage with your ujjayi breath, bringing that element of sound and texture to your breath. And lower your right knee back down in line with your left. Shift your gaze to neutral. And then start walking your elbows up under your shoulders. Come into a Sphinx pose. Floating your shoulders over your wrists. Pressing the tops of your feet into the earth. Softening through your belly. And then find a sense of dragging your elbows back toward your waist. Inhale. Exhale. Release your heart down to the earth. Bring your hands under your shoulders. Press yourself up onto your knees and find tabletop. Floating your shoulders over your wrists, floating your hips over your knees. And we're going to start with a bit of cat rolling. On an inhale, drop your belly down toward the earth. Lift your gaze. Exhale, press into your hands, press into your shins, round through your shoulders. Inhale, drop your belly. Open your heart. Pull the heels of your hands back towards your knees. Exhale, round through your shoulders. Shift your gaze to the space between your knees. Do that 4 more times at your own pace, into the cadence of your own breath. All right. After 6 full rounds, come into a neutral spine position. Rhomboid push-ups. Arms stay straight. Back of the head stays buoyant, in line with the back of the heart. On an inhale, drop just your chest down toward the earth. Feel the space between your shoulder blades close together. Exhale. Press the back of your heart up toward the stars. Maybe at the top, release your chin to your chest. Inhale. Drop your heart down toward the earth. Make the back of your head buoyant again. Exhale, round through your shoulders. Inhale, drop your heart down toward the earth. Exhale, puff the space between your shoulder blades up toward the stars. And then start to walk your hands back towards your knees, sitting into a hero's pose. So one option is to place 2 blocks at the lowest height, one on top of the other behind the heels. I'm going to turn towards you just for demonstration purposes. And then notice, feel for the compression in the, primarily where I think most people are going to really feel this here is in the quads, right at the tops of the knees and in the ankles. And if you've got space, reach back, remove 1 block. Oop, I'm home right there. But if you have even more space, you can reach back and remove the 2nd block. Now, tee your arms out to the side, palms face forward, thumbs point toward the stars, pinkies point toward the earth. Leave the thumbs up, but make a fist. And then fold your thumbs over the fist. So we're going to start with a little work on the wrist. So I'd like you to visualize you had a pitcher of water in each hand. With the arm straight, pour water out to your sides onto the ground. So we're trying to stretch out the thumb side of the wrist. Bring your wrist back to neutral, and then start lifting the pinky fingers up toward the stars. We're trying to stretch that pinky edge blade. And you can even, sometimes I even pop that little pinky finger out. Because with the pitcher is one metaphor, what I think of, like when my pinky wants to lift up, maybe think about the fanciest cup of tea you've ever drank. I had a cup of coffee in Costa Rica like that once. So fancy, the pinky just kept coming out. I couldn't even help it. All right, pour water from the pitchers. Sip tea from the cups. Water from the pitchers. Tea from the cups. And then come back into neutral. You can release your arms, set them on your thighs. You can let them dangle down by your side. But bring your chin so it's level with the earth. So space enough between your chin and your throat for a tennis ball. And then in your next inhale, press your chin back toward the back edge of your mat. Leave your chin neutral. So in my body, this gives me a double chin. And you might even feel the levator scapulae on the back of the neck firing here. Exhale, relax. Inhale, double chin. Exhale, relax. Inhale, press your chin toward the back edge of your mat. Exhale, release your neck. Inhale, double chin. Exhale, relax. And then one more time on an inhale, press your chin toward the back edge of your mat. Exhale, relax your neck. There's a way for you to comfortably do it. Tuck your left hand under either your left foot or your left seat. Place the palm of your right hand on your head so the right elbow points forward toward the top edge of your mat. Inhale to lengthen along your whole spinal column. And then as you exhale, fold your chin down towards your left shoulder. Right. Whether we succeed with this or not is another thing, but the goal is here is to get into the back left-hand side of the neck. And on your next inhale, lift the crown of your head back up to center. Exhale, release that right hand down. You can tuck it under your foot. You can tuck it under your seat. Left hand at the top of your skull. Left elbow points forward. Inhale to find length. Exhale, fold your chin down toward your left shoulder. Inhale, lift the crown of your head back up to center. Exhale, release your left hand down. You can release your right hand from beneath your foot, and then bring fingers, palms of your hands, wrists, forearms, and elbows all together in front of your face. Elbows just below the level of your chin. Squeeze everything together. And then on an inhale, feel your rib cage rise and expand. Press your fingertips up toward the stars, probably very subtle, probably 2 inches movement most. Exhale, release your elbows back to the position where you started. Inhale, feel the rib cage rise and expand. Lift the fingers up. Exhale, come back to your starting position. Inhale, feel the rib cage lift. Lift the fingers up toward the stars. This time as you exhale, press the fingers up as high as you can. And then bring them back down to the starting position. 3 breaths right here. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. And then relax your arms. Shake your arms out. And then roll forward into a tabletop position. On an inhale, tuck your toes up under your feet. Exhale, lift up into downward facing dog and go right into these small movements that warm your lower body. Tonight, I'm going to take the Achilles heel of my right foot in the webbing between the big toe and the second toe of my left foot and gently add a little pressure down. I'll change sides. All right, now lower body is still, upper body is engaged. Flatten your palms out on the earth. Press your belly, your chest towards your thighs. Press your thighs towards your chest and your belly. Press down especially into your index knuckle and thumb. Now drag your elbows 3/4 of an inch closer to the mat. Tweeze them together as if there was a beach ball between them and you're squeezing the pudding out of that beach ball. We're going to open up with 4 classical sun salutations with a high lunge. We'll link those together with caterpillar pose. On an inhale, bend your knees, look forward. Exhale, take as many steps as you need to come up to the top edge of your mat, Uttanasana Ragdoll, with your feet hip distance apart and your whole belly resting on your thighs. Shift the weight into the balls of your feet. 70% of the weight in the balls of the feet, 30% in the heels. And release your hands down to the earth. Heel toe your feet together. Shift the weight into your heels. And then on an inhale, find a halfway lift. Long straight spine, but maybe very bent knees. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, press into your feet. Sweep your arms up over your head. Exhale, slice your hands down into heart center. Take a soft gaze at the tips of your fingers. 2 breaths to set an intention for your practice for this evening. Inhale, reach your arms up over your head. Lift your gaze, look at your hands. Interlace your middle finger, ring finger, and pinky finger. Exhale right here. Inhale, press into your feet, grow to your heart, the crown of your head, and your fingers. Exhale, drop your hands over to your left, press your hips over to the right. Feel for space and length along the whole right side of your body. Inhale, lift back up into center. Exhale, change sides. Drop your hands off to the right. Open your left rib cage over to the left. Inhale, rise up to center. Lift your gaze. Look at your hands. Exhale, hinge into a forward fold. Inhale for a halfway lift. Exhale, step your left leg back. Rise up into crescent warrior. Right knee floating over your right ankle. Left heel is lifted. Right away, engage the legs. Find an action of dragging the ball of your left foot forward as if you were trying to touch the heel of your right foot. And your choice on the hands. On that front thigh, heart center, or warrior 1 arms. And you're already doing it, friends. You're already doing the pose. Only if you want more sensation, put a bend in that left knee, a deeper bend, lower it down toward the earth. Your next inhale, straighten your left leg. Exhale, release your hands down to the earth. Step your right leg back to meet your left in a high plank. Flatten your palms down on the mat again. Press your index, knuckle, and thumb down. Puff the space between your shoulder blades up toward the stars and make the back of your head buoyant. Inhale right here in your high plank. Exhale, caterpillar pose. Tap your knees down to the earth. Leave the arch in your back. Lower your chin and your chest down toward the earth. And then on an inhale, rock forward onto your belly. And then peel your heart up off the earth into easy cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale. Exhale, step your left leg forward. Crescent warrior. Rise on your inhale. Engage the legs. And once again, only if you want more sensation, put a bend in that right knee. Find some place you can soften. Maybe it's your shoulders, maybe it's flesh around your eyes, maybe it's your jaw. Maybe it's something in your mind. But where are you holding on and gripping in a way that you don't need to, in a way that's hurting you right now? Transition will be to a forward fold. Inhale, straighten your right leg. Exhale, step your right leg forward to meet your left. Forward fold. Inhale for a halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, press into your feet. Circle your arms up over your head. Exhale, draw your hands down into heart center. Inhale, reach your arms up over your head. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale for a halfway lift. Exhale, step your right leg back, crescent warrior. One breath to rise on your inhale. Exhale, high plank. Inhale in high plank. Exhale, caterpillar pose. Inhale, open your heart. And you can really substitute any heart opener here. Sphinx or up dog work as well as easy cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale and down dog. Exhale, step your right leg forward. Rise up into crescent warrior. And then find a forward fold at the top edge of your mat. Inhale for a halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise. Come up to standing. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, reach your arms up toward the moon. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale for a halfway lift. Exhale, left leg back, crescent warrior. And then on your next exhale, release your hands down to the earth in high plank. Inhale in high plank. Exhale, caterpillar pose. Knees, chest, chin, reach for the earth. Inhale, open your heart. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale. Exhale, step your left leg forward. Rise into crescent warrior. And then exhale, forward fold. Inhale for a halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, root to rise, come all the way up to standing. Exhale, slice your hands down into heart center. Inhale, reach your arms up over your head and either lift your gaze and look at your hands or maybe start to press your hips forward. Take a little back bend. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale for a halfway lift. Exhale, right leg back, crescent lunge. Inhale as you rise. Exhale, find high plank. Inhale in high plank. Exhale, last caterpillar of the practice. Inhale, open your heart. Exhale, downward facing dog. From your down dog, drawing a deep, life affirming breath. And then open your mouth, let it go with a ha sound. Inhale. Exhale, step your right leg forward. Rise into crescent warrior. And then find a forward fold at the top edge of your mat. Inhale for a halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, sit back into chair pose. Utkatasana, weight in the heels. Long, straight spinal column. Any option with your hands. But scoop your belly button towards your sternum. Open your heart up more toward the top edge of your mat. Shift even more weight into your heels. Bring your hands to life. That's it. Inhale. Exhale, forward fold. Good job, friends. Inhale for a halfway lift. Exhale, step back into high plank. Inhale, rock forward on your toes. Float your shoulders over your wrists. Exhale, knees up or down. Back of the head stays buoyant, but come halfway down. Low plank, chaturanga. Inhale, open your heart. Exhale, downward facing dog. On your next inhale, lift your right heel up toward the stars. Exhale, reach it forward. Rise up into warrior one. Your heels might be in one long straight line. They could be full mat width apart. You can do any arms. This is just one option. This is just a variation. Go post your arms out to the side. Make fists. Inhale. Draw your shoulder blades together like you were pinching a broomstick. Lift your gaze. Open your heart. Exhale. Hands, wrists, forearms, and elbows meet in the front. Release your chin to your chest. Round through your shoulders. Inhale. Open your heart. Exhale. Round through your shoulders. Inhale. Open your heart. Exhale, round through your shoulders. Inhale, come back into goalpost arms. Exhale, release your hands down to the earth. Step your right leg back to meet your left, high plank. And then either press into down dog or flow through a vinyasa. Take a break in child's pose. Drink of water. Whatever makes sense for you and your body. On an inhale, lift your left heel up toward the heavens. Exhale, step it forward. Rise up into warrior one. Start with the feet. Stabilize the legs first. Ground down into all four corners of your left foot and the pinky edge, blade, and heel of your right foot. Maybe goalpost the arms, or you can do anything you want with your arms right now. But if you goalpost them, then on an inhale, open your heart. Exhale, round through your shoulders. Inhale, open your heart. Exhale, round through your shoulders. Press the pinky edge blade of your right foot down more. Inhale, open your heart. Exhale, round through your shoulders. Inhale, come back into goalpost arms. Exhale, release your hands down to the earth. Step back into high plank. And then get to down dog in the way that makes the most sense for you and for your body. On a deep, life-affirming, dignified breath. And then open your mouth, let that all go. On an inhale, lift your right heel up toward the stars. Exhale, step it forward. Come back into crescent warrior. So we've been here a lot. We're not going to hang around. Hands to heart center right away. Inhale, find a little hinge forward at the hips. Exhale, revolved crescent warrior with your left elbow on the inside top or outside of your right thigh. Inhale to find length along your whole spinal column. Exhale, rotate your hips back to the left first, and then your heart opens more to the right. One more breath and a big opening into warrior two. Inhale. Exhale, open up into warrior two, Virabhadrasana. Pinky edge blade of your left foot now parallel with the back edge of your mat. Stack the joints, float your head over your shoulders, over your hips. Scoop your belly button towards your sternum. Ground down into all four corners of your right foot and the pinky edge blade of your left. Again, once again, find some place you can soften. Where are you holding on and gripping in a way that's not serving you? And can you choose to let that go? On your next inhale, flip your right palm, let it draw you forward. Exhale, maintain your warrior two legs, but find peaceful warrior. opening up between the pinky edge blade, or sorry, the pinky finger of your right hand and your right hip point. Anything you want with that left hand, anything you want with your gaze. Inhale. Exhale, extended side angle pose. Right elbow on the inside of your right inner thigh. Your left hand could start or even stay right on your hip or low back. That right hand could come all the way down to the mat or to a block. And you could, if you like, float the fingers of your left hand up toward the stars. Find a gaze that's pleasing for your neck. Right? There doesn't have to be a bunch of strain in the neck. But continue pressing the back of your heart into an imaginary wall. All right, friends. On your next inhale, lift up into Warrior Two. Straighten your right leg. Turn your toes out to face the corners toward the outside edges of your mat. Stack the joints. Float your head over your shoulders, over your hips. And then drop your seat maybe 12 to 14 inches. Find a high horse. So knees stacked more or less over the ankles. Head floating over shoulders, over hips. Any arms or forearms parallel to the earth. Fingers point forward to start, and then make fists with your thumbs out. Close your thumbs over your fist. So from back here, looking at your fist with a bit of imagination, these are the heads of two brontosauruses, right? And they're kind of assessing their environment. So on your next inhale, keep your wrists where they are, but lift the fingers up, lift the gaze of the brontosaurus up. Maybe they're looking at the pterodactyl. Maybe they're friends. It's imaginary, so we can make it anything we want, right? Exhale, lower the gaze of the brontosaurus to look down at the forest understory. They're herbivores, so they're looking down at the plants. Inhale, lift the gaze up toward the pterodactyls. Exhale, drop the gaze down toward the forest floor. Maybe feel a stretch here at the tops of the wrists and the forearms. Inhale, lift the gaze up toward the pterodactyls. Maybe a stretch at the bottom of the wrists. Exhale, forest floor. And then bring your wrist back to neutral. You can release your arms, start pressing into your feet, straighten your legs. Turn your right toes to 12 o'clock. Come back into Warrior Two just for a breath. Inhale right here. Exhale, cartwheel your hands down to the earth. Step your right leg back to meet your left. Now tap your knees down to the earth. Set your palms into the mat really firmly. Bring your big toes together to touch. Sit halfway down into a child's pose. But before you go further, I'd like you to start really pulling the heels of your hands back towards your knees. And then maybe drop your seat closer down towards your heels. So what I'm hoping to do here is kind of get into stretching the lats out. I'd like to feel this stretch more in the back than maybe we typically do in a child's pose. You could, if your forehead still comes down, if you can maintain that engagement in the back and release your forehead down to the mat, that's great. Next, inhale, lift back up into a high plank, and then either flow through a vinyasa or press directly into downward facing dog. And we're going to take this sequence on the other side. On an inhale, lift your left heel up toward the stars. Good, you guys. Exhale, step it forward, rise up into crescent warrior with hands at heart center. Inhale, find a bit of a hinge forward at the hips. Exhale, revolved crescent warrior. So here, that bottom fist, that bottom hand, I'm choosing to make a fist. So I have paper covering rock. And for me, I can get a little bit more torque when my body is feeling more openness here. 2 more breaths and then a big opening into Warrior Two. Inhale. Exhale, open up into Warrior Two, Virabhadrasana. If you notice your right knee coming forward to your right ankle, leave the back foot where it is. Leave the right foot where it is. Step the left foot a little further forward. And press your left knee out toward the pinky edge blade of your left foot. Press the pinky edge blade of your right foot more firmly down into the mat as well. And inhale, flip your left palm. Exhale, come back into peaceful warrior. Keep that bend in that left knee if you can. And then can you create even some more space and length between the tip of your left pinky finger and your left hip? Inhale. Exhale, extended side angle pose. Imaginary wall behind your head and shoulders again. Press the back of your heart into that wall. Fingers on the right hand are alive, flexed but not overflexed. Your next inhale, lift up into Warrior Two, and then start straightening that left leg. Turn your toes out to face the corners at the right hand edge of your mat. Stack your joints again. Drop your hips 12 to 14 inches. And then you could do any arm variation or forearms parallel to the earth. Close your fingers and make fists. Close your thumbs. We're back to our Brontosaurus. This time the bushes rattle over to the left. Shift the gaze of your Brontosaurus over to the left. Inhale, center. Now the bushes on the right rattle a little bit. Shift the gaze over to the right. Just looking for threats. Center. Drop your seat another 2 inches. Left. Center. Right. Center. Drop your seat 2 inches. Left. Center. Right. Center. Release your arms, straighten your legs. Great job. Turn your left toes at 12 o'clock facing the top edge of your mat. No vinyasa. Just step your right foot forward to meet your left. So just for demonstration purposes, I'll change positions. Ground down into all 4 corners of your left foot, and then put a bend in your right knee. Find a standing leg raise. Maybe catching that right knee with your right hand, or maybe catching your right big toe with a peace finger, middle finger, your right hand, and straightening that right leg. The knee is bent. Flex the toes on your right foot back towards your face. Find your drishti. Soften your gaze, but widen the aperture like you're taking in the whole room. And stay right here or open that right hip off to the right. Maybe lengthen your left arm out to the side as a counterbalance. And stay right here or challenge your balance by either closing your eyes or shifting your gaze out over the fingers of your left hand. All right, when we transition, when I ask you to lower the right leg, we're going to do something different, guys. So watch out for autopilot. That happens to us a lot in yoga. We think we know what's happening. We're anticipating. This will be a little different. And so draw that right hip back into center. When you step that right foot down, step it wider than hip width apart. Drop the fingers of your right hand down toward the earth. Lift the fingers of your left hand up toward the stars. Gaze maybe up toward your left hand. Now press the back of your left hand even higher up toward the ceiling. Again, we're trying to stretch out the lats here. We're just doing it in a really different way than we typically would. But I also feel the QL on the left side of my body really lengthening and stretching out. Serratus anterior is stretching out. your next inhale, bring your body back to plumb. Stack the joints. Drop your left arm. Step your right foot next to your left. Good job. Ground down into all four corners of your right foot. Standing leg raise. Left leg raised. Press down into the sole of your right foot. Lengthen out of the crown of your head. Any amount more. See if you can find another inch in height. I don't know if you do this at the doctor's office, but every time they take my height at the doctor's office, I seem to press into my feet a little bit more. I find a little extra height, maybe half an inch or 3/4 of an inch. Stay right here, or open your left hip out to the side, right arm comes down as a counterbalance, and stay right here, or challenge your balance. It's just ego, but I was 6'1" when I graduated from high school, and I've shrunk over the years, so I still measure at 6 feet when I go to the doctor's office, but 6 feet is probably generous now. Probably like 5'11.5" is more honest. Right, draw that left leg back into center. When you step it down nice and wide. Drop the fingers of your left hand as if you were trying to touch the back of your left hand onto the earth. Reach the back of your right hand up as if you were trying to touch the moon. Lunar eclipse tonight, so a wonderful night to engage with the moon. Press the back of your right hand even higher up toward the stars. I don't know if you guys will be able to enjoy the moon tonight. I'm going to take a long walk for about an hour after our practice tonight. Maybe a little early for the eclipse, but the moon is pretty glorious tonight too. My friends, on your next inhale, stack the joints again. Drop your right hand down by your side. Step your left foot back next to your right. Inhale, sweep your arms up over your head. Exhale, hinge into a forward fold. Inhale for a halfway lift. Exhale, step back into high plank. And then tap your knees down to the earth. Come down to your belly. Goal post your arms out to the side. And then bring the soles of your feet together. So bound angle legs. Scoop your belly button towards your sternum. Maybe feel your pubic bone root down into the earth, but maybe not with these bound angle knees. And then see if you can press your pubic bone into the earth. Lift everything else up, skydiver. Draw your shoulder blades together. Leave your neck long, so gaze maybe directly under your head or maybe where the top edge of your mat meets the floor. Press the soles of your feet together even more. And then lower your heart down to the earth. Relax your legs, shift your gaze to the left. You can lengthen your legs long for now if you want. We'll come back to the skydiver legs 2 more times. Shift your gaze back to neutral. Bring the soles of your feet together again. On an inhale, scoop your belly button towards your sternum. Exhale, press into your pubic bone. Everything else lifts up. And breathing, we're breathing the whole time. So if you notice yourself holding your breath, notice that with curiosity and kindness, but then re-engage with your breath. Lift up any amount higher. And lower your heart down to the earth. Release your legs long. Shift your gaze to the right. Bring your gaze back to neutral. Bring the soles of your feet together again. Inhale, scoop your belly button towards your sternum. Exhale, lift everything else up off the earth. Pubic bone roots into the earth. Soles of your feet press firmly together. We'll hold for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good job. Lower down. Maybe cross your forearms in front of you. Leave the bend in your knees. Drop your ankles from side to side. Windshield wiper your legs, if that feels good. And come to stillness with your lower body. Lower your feet down to the earth behind you. Come into Sphinx pose just for a breath. And then some kind of a forearm plank. So this could be on your knees. Or lift up onto the balls of your feet. But puff the space between your shoulder blades up toward the stars. Make the back of your head buoyant. And if you can, seek to create one long straight line from the back of your head to the backs of your heels. It won't be perfect, and it doesn't need to be. Perfect isn't the goal. Continue to breathe. And then lower your hips down to the earth, Sphinx pose. Tuck your toes under your feet. Lift up into a forearm plank. Back of the head buoyant. Back of the head buoyant. Notice the really human tendency. Gravity, for a lot of us, will want to cave our forehead down toward the earth. Resist that. And find a cat back, like we were doing the cat rolling in the beginning. That space between your shoulder blades, puffed up, reaching for the stars. Core is engaged. And release your hips down to the earth, Sphinx pose. Great job, friends. Lower your heart down to the earth. Bring your hands under your shoulders. On an inhale, press up and back to downward facing dog. Exhale right here. Inhale, lift your right heel up toward the stars. Exhale, half pigeon. Take your right knee to the far right hand edge of your mat. I don't care how close to parallel this right shin is. I do care that the knee is out wide. Right, once you're set up there, that right knee's nice and wide. Tuck your toes up under your left foot. Walk that left leg long behind you. And then open your heart on an inhale. And you could stay right here if you like. Or start to fold forward over that right thigh, maybe with a block under your forehead or your heart. If you're getting pain in your right knee, flex the toes on your right foot back towards your right knee. And also notice, like, the right hip for many of us is lifted up off the earth. It's fine. I get a better stretch with no support under it. But the tendency is my hips want to drift off to the right. In order to do this with no props, I'd like you to check and make sure that your hips are centered. And then if they keep scooting over to the right, you might just tuck a block under your right hip. That's okay. It's still half pigeon. Bring your hands under your shoulders. Lift yourself up. Tuck the toes under your left foot. Lift up and back into a three-legged dog. And then find whatever kind of counter pose brings you comfort. I'm going to step my right foot behind my left and shift my gaze out over my left shoulder. But if there's something else that feels better for your body, do that thing. And then once you've had a couple breaths in a counter pose, on an inhale, lift your left leg up toward the stars. Exhale, step it forward, left knee nice and wide. Tuck your toes under your right foot. Walk your right leg long behind you. Open your heart on an inhale. Maybe stay lifted like this, or then maybe fold forward. All right, friends, start to walk your hands up under your shoulders. Tuck the toes under your right foot. Lift up and back into three-legged dog. And then find your counter pose for this other hip. And then when you're ready, tap your knees down to the earth. Side saddle your legs off to the side. Come onto your back. Put a generous bend in your knees. Place the soles of your feet on the earth. Tee your arms out to the side. Walk your hips over to the right. Drop your knees over to the left. Only if you want more sensation. One, shift your gaze out over the fingers of your right hand. And a second option that will really ramp up the sensation here. Straighten your right leg. Let gravity draw that big toe edge blade of your right foot down toward the earth. If you straightened your right leg, put a bend in your right knee. On an inhale, lift your knees up to center. Scoot your hips over to the left. Drop your knees off to the right. And then maybe straighten that left leg. Maybe shift your gaze out over the fingers of your left hand. That's completely up to you, friends. Lift your knees back up to center. And then find a happy baby pose. So I'm going to choose to place a block under my lower back. You can do this with or without the block. We'll bring the soles of your feet parallel to the earth. Any action of the arms drawing the knees down toward the earth. So your hands could be on the back of your thighs behind your knees. They could be anywhere on your shins or your ankles. You could wrap your peace fingers around your big toes, or you could take your hands out to the pinky edge blades of your feet. Maybe your baby is joyful and you choose to rock from side to side. Or maybe you've got a more solemn, contemplative baby tonight and you just maintain a static stretch. It's whatever your body's calling for. All right, friends, release your happy baby, release the soles of your feet down to the earth, and then find any final resting shape on your seat, your belly, your back, or your side. You can release your ujjayi breath, come back to a comfortable, natural breath, and just balance the two qualities of relaxation and alertness. Start to draw some deeper breaths, feeling your belly and your chest rise more in each inhale, and feeling more a sense of more fullness and completion with each exhale. And if your body's moved to do so, start to reanimate your body with small movements, maybe wiggling your fingers or your toes, maybe doing something with your neck or your chin. And then if your body invites it, feel free to accept the invitation to go bigger at any time, rotating your hands at the wrists, your feet at the ankles, If you're on your back with a bend in your knees and the soles of your feet on the earth, you can drop your knees from side to side and windshield wipe your legs again. You can take a full body stretch and then roll over onto either side, find a fetal position. Spend 3 or 4 breaths here, just checking in. Notice how you feel, like the totality of your being. How does your body feel, your physical body? How does your mental body feel? What's the state of your emotional body? And what's the state of your nervous system? And press yourself up into any seated position, any soft eyes that you like, anything that you're moved or inclined to do with your hands. Thank you, dear friends, for the opportunity to guide you through your practice, to serve you in this way. I appreciate your energy, your breath in your practice. If you're moved to do so, draw your thumbs to the space between your eyebrows. Blessings to you and your family. And that concludes our practice for tonight. Great job, friends. Again, I'm Chris. I'm from Transformation Nation Yoga and Wellness, and this was our Stability Meets Mobility Fire and Earth 2 sequence. You're doing an amazing job. Just keep going.